During the COVID-19 pandemic, seafarers and companies are facing many challenges and difficulties when attempting crew changes. A list of protocols has been published by the International Maritime Organization and other shipping-related organizations. These protocols address the issue of crew change and the impact it is having on shipping and global trade. The protocols aim to ensure that seafarers are treated as key workers. This means that all your official identity documents, Seaman's Book, STCW certificates, employment agreements, and letters of appointment are acceptable identification to exempt you from travel restrictions, so that you can enter any port and transit all jurisdictions during crew change. Before departing to join your ship, check if the shipping company requires you to undergo a pre-deployment medical check or provide a health record. Also, be aware that some port authorities may require you to obtain a fit-to-travel certificate 24 hours before you leave home. In any case, monitor your health condition, particularly temperature, and maintain a record of that for at least 14 days prior to travel, and check the latest requirements of your company relating to COVID-19. Throughout your journey to the vessel, make sure that you minimize your exposure to any risk of infection and that you avoid traveling on public transportation if practical. This includes the period when you are completing your medical examinations or any other pre-joining requirements. Ensure that you have in your possession all the necessary documents for your trip. This includes passport, Seaman's Book, crew health self-declaration form and daily temperature records, employer or contract letter, and crew change and travel information sheet. These documents should be kept in a bag or compartment that can be easily accessed and disinfected. The company should inform you of the latest available details on flights, arrangements for the airport, and procedures to follow for infection protection. At the airport, you will be given the latest information regarding your flight and any other travel arrangements. You will need to observe the social distancing measure of 2 meters during check-in, security, customs, immigration, border control, and while waiting for your flight. You must minimize contact with airport personnel and other passengers. On board the plane, you should limit your contact with cabin crew during in-flight service and with other passengers, taking particular care with hygiene when using the toilet facilities. Several countries require that you pass a COVID-19 test with a negative result not more than 48 hours before arriving in their country. Your travel schedule should be accurately prepared by the company so that you arrive without undue delays in order to comply with this requirement. Some countries or your company may require that you are tested on arrival or before boarding the ship to protect the health of others on board. The company should arrange for safe travel to the port and give the seaport and the ship details of your arrival. The port authority will be notified of all expected crew changes as part of its pre-arrival notification on an arrival and departure crew list. When you arrive at the gangway, you should safely dispose of your face mask worn during the journey and obtain a new one. You must wash your hands with soap and water or sanitize them with a 70% high alcohol-based gel before you register your arrival. Your temperature will be taken with a non-contact thermometer. If test kits are available and it is required by your company, you might be tested for COVID-19 on board. No crew member should join the ship if they test positive, feel ill, or have flu-like symptoms. You will need to complete a questionnaire to provide an updated self-declaration of health. This may include a detailed record of your stay, when, where, and for how long, at home, and for each stage of your journey. When you sign on, you are agreeing to follow the instructions regarding COVID-19 in the ship's outbreak management plan. Handle your luggage wearing gloves and disinfect it thoroughly as soon as possible. If applicable to you, bear in mind that the handover process might be limited in duration and in interaction. Therefore, you should be mentally and physically prepared to take over your duties in a shorter time than usual. For your first 14 days on board, you will need to monitor and record your temperature daily during this period. and tell the medical officer or the master if it goes above 37.8 Celsius, or if you feel unwell. You may be asked to avoid using common areas and disinfect your work equipment. During the days before you disembark, your general well-being needs to be monitored. This period will be determined by the requirements of your company in accordance with its coronavirus plans and procedures. You will need to check and record your temperature at least daily. If you register an increase in temperature above 37.8 Celsius or develop any other COVID-19 symptoms, you must inform the master or a designated responsible officer. Keep to the procedures prescribed by the company and in national and local guidelines relating to social distancing, hygiene, and safe food handling practices while on board. Prior to disembarkation, you should be provided with face masks, hand sanitizer, and all other requirements for your journey home. In some ports, you may be tested for COVID-19 by a port doctor and be quarantined to wait for the results before leaving for the airport. Breaking local rules may result in fines or additional quarantine. As part of the ship's pre-arrival notification, the ship will inform the port authorities of the details of disembarking and embarking crew members. All flights and supporting travel arrangements will be made for you, including contingency plans in case any problems arise. You will also receive the required travel documentation, which will include the employer letter and company declaration, copy of seafarer's employment agreement, letter of undertaking, master's declaration form for crew change, flight details, e-ticket or boarding pass. These documents should be kept in a bag or compartment that can be easily accessed and disinfected. In preparation for your disembarkation, you must wear the required face mask and avoid close contact with other personnel, either on the quayside or in the launch. You must also disinfect and carry your own luggage. In some ports, the agent may be required to accompany you through all the steps from the ship to the airport. The company will provide transport as necessary from the quayside to any temporary accommodation or holding facility, and from there to the airport of departure. As with embarkation, at the airport and on the aeroplane you will need to observe social distancing measures and precautions. On arrival, and once through the airport, go directly to the transport arranged to take you home, or to the hotel booked by the shipping company or agent. In some countries, more stringent measures may apply. This means you may be tested for COVID-19 and you may be required to remain in quarantine for several days in an appropriate facility designated by the authorities. The shipping industry and its seafarers are critical for the maintenance of world trade. The ability for crews to be relieved at the end of their tours of duty is essential, not only for the health and well-being of individual seafarers, but also for the safety of shipping operations overall. It is well known that crew changing during this pandemic has become a complex process, beset with practical difficulties. It is essential, however, that these difficulties are overcome to enable all of you seafarers to return home to your loved ones at the end of your contracts. However, with a combined effort and international cooperation, global shipping will continue to support the world economy safely and efficiently. Further helpful information and guidance is available from Steamship Mutual